It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, and it's also the 13th day in the month of May 2025. And a big welcome to another interesting edition of VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. I am Fina Okechukwu, and on our radar today, we have quite interesting lineups for us this morning. And one of the topic of conversation is how Wike confirms Fubara's visit. A suspended governor declares that he's no longer, wishes to govern, saying his spirit has left the office. And he made this known during the memorial service of Pa Edward Clark.
All right, there. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Away from that, PDP is dead. We'll soon welcome you to APC. Ganduje fires back at Lamido as he predicts APC split, claims APC leader and others will defect to PDP.
Well, that's the kind of politics we are experiencing in Nigeria now. But anyway, IPOB speaks again. IPOB orders total state at home on May 30 in the southeast for Biafra Heroes Day as DSS blocks ex-AGF Kanu Agabi from meeting Nnamdi Kanu in custody. Now, these are the conversations on our plate this morning. But of course, we have something on the side, a little dessert for you. And that's conversations that Nigerians have chimed in on. Nigerians are having a few of these conversations. One of them is that the Obedient movement has pushed back against recent remarks by African Action Congress presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore, who claimed Peter Obi does not oppose the Tinubu administration and should not be considered part of the opposition. Well, responding through its national coordinator, Yunusa Tanko, the movement said Obi remains a dominant force in national politics, attracting constant public and media attention. Watanko argued that Obi's influence is so significant that political actors, including the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, continue to reference him to stay relevant in public discourse. Oh, well, I am Moses Humphrey, and my take in this particular conversation is we all don't have to, wear beret and carry placards and say "Luta continua" before we become opposition. People can oppose in different ways. If one is not leading protests, if one is not on the streets of Nigeria, chanting, it doesn't mean the person is not opposing one way or another. Some editors oppose by writing articles, exposing some of the things that government isn't doing right. So we can oppose in different ways, and it's interesting that everyone is chiming in on Peter Obi's take on issues. Everyone wants to talk about Peter Obi. He seems to be the man of the moment. Well, kudos to the man of the moment then.
If Omoyele Sowore says that Peter Obi does not criticize this present administration, then I would like to ask him who then does. If I'm to ask that, because I could recall that Peter Gregory happened to be the one that, more like speaks against the way this present administration runs its affairs. And we could also recall that he has also received series of threats. The other time it was from Moka, who told him to be careful, you should watch what he says and all that. And then I think it was last week, during the weekend also, the Senate president also called him to say that he should mind what he says for him not to be able to divide the nation. Now, sure, maybe he expects Obi to come up and, wear a beret like Moses Riley pointed out, and then leave Lagos and get to Abuja and stage a protest and demand that does not even last for let's say 30 to 50 minutes, and everyone will be dispersed and all that. When people are talking about opposition, you don't just criticize. You criticize to crystallize, if I'm to use that word. Yes, wake up to say, these are the things that the government are not doing well. Then you prefer solutions. So when Obi talks, Obi actually is not the kind of person that will come up to shout, if you ask me. I'm not holding breath for him, but he's not that person that will come up to say he's going to shout and start throwing tantrums and start throwing threats up and down and start making noise. No, he is a man who he's intellectually sound, that is bringing something on the table to tell you that these are the reasons, or this happened to be the reason why I say what I said. These are the ways we will go for Nigeria to go forward. So when if Sowore is looking for active, radicals, he should also understand that we have persons who are conservative in nature, who will not just embrace a particular way of criticizing a government or talking about a government in an opposition way?
Well, it is quite interesting to know how Peter Obi has become a reference point in Nigerian politics, to the point that even people in government, when they want to remain relevant, they just simply need to call Obi's name and they gain traction, on social media. And I am asking, Showore, why don't you just focus on criticizing the government instead of now criticizing Peter Obi? Has Peter Obi become the government of the day that you need to criticize and tell him that, look, he is not playing active opposition? What should Obi do? You want Obi to go and block the gate of Aso Rock and say, look, Mr. President, you are not doing well. What else should he do? I mean, the man is doing what he knows how to do, and that is to hold government to account by saying, look, government, you have not done this right. Don't you think that it is better to do it this way? His criticism is quite constructive, and I keep asking people that say that Obi is not playing active opposition, tell me one good thing, one thing that Obi had said that is incorrect, just one thing, or any data or any statistics is put out there that is not correct. So it tells us that, look, Obi is a new signpost of African politics, way beyond Nigeria. I say that in the light of the fact that just last week, Obi was invited, African students in Cambridge organized a seminar, and the title of the seminar was The Making of Africa's Future Presidents. And instead of inviting sitting presidents, they are inviting someone that supposedly lost an election. So they asked him to come and speak on the making of Africa's future presidents, alongside the vice president of Botswana. So what does that tell you? It tells you that Obi's relevance is gone beyond Nigeria. It's now an African thing. It's even gone beyond Africa. It's a global phenomenon. He visits all parts of the world. The other time he was in Indonesia. The other time he was in Vietnam. So, and instead of inviting people in government, instead of inviting their president, they are inviting somebody that failed an election. So isn't that quite telling and revealing about the personality of Obi in African politics? I think we've gone beyond Nigeria here. It's just about an African thing. So when people want to gain traction, like I said, what they just need to do is mention Obi's name, even on social media. If you mention Obi's name, you just get a lot of views and all of that. Quite unfortunate that, look, instead of engaging ourselves in meaningful discourse, they are trying to throw someone who is doing very well, who is actively involved in trying to hold government to account. Peter Obi has said, look, Peter Obi can, for the rest of his life, he's not going to be poor again, at least if he continues to do business. But he's interested in rescuing Nigerians from what he calls this rascality. And instead of people encouraging him, they are trolling him. That's quite unfortunate. Let's move away from that and go to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which has said that former Niger Delta militant leader, Chief Government Tompolo, that's Tompolo, has questions to answer over an alleged case of naira abuse. This was after a video from Tompolo's 54th birthday ceremony showed him getting sprayed with 1,000 naira notes by an unidentified man. After the video went viral on social media, many netizens brought the attention of the EFCC to the alleged naira abuse involving Tompolo. Now, that's a video of
that's the event.
That's the event, and it's quite glamorous.
Oh,
it's quite glamorous,
goodness.
I mean, Tompolo. I mean, this is somebody that is he resolved his issue with the FCC before now?
No,
or
he
is
hasn't.
He with the military?
He hasn't.
With the government. With the government. And
those
now,
issues have been put in the locker.
Oh, okay, in the locker. Maybe because has he formally declared to the APC?
Well,
we haven't seen his door-to-door mobilization. He's supposed to have a door-to-door mobilization for the president administration.
Okay,
Yes,
he and anytime the president celebrates something, he takes
must
all
be
the pages of
cover
newspapers,
pages of the papers.
front page, cover pages of all the newspapers, and we'll be looking for news to read and tell. So that is what we have become, a country that does not punish small crimes. That is why big ones thrive. Look at Tompolo, who has become, hobnobbing on the corridors of power and all of that. And people are asking, but there are other Nigerians who did these things and they were also quizzed and invited. So what is the difference? But it's good that EFCC has come out to say, look, there are no sacred cows. So Tompolo, you have questions to answer. But was he the one spraying, or was it sprayed? Is it about being an accomplice or what? I don't understand all of that. Maybe Moses, you can help us understand better.
I think it's an issue of being an accomplice here, because I wonder why this masquerade has not been invited to come and answer to why he's dancing on the naira note. And some of the people there that just kept a stash of cash there. they should also waiting to
for
be
their
sprayed.
turn.
Yes, they should also be arrested. You know, it's not just about Tompolo now. But it's interesting that EFCC seems to be doing a lot more in terms of inviting people that have sprayed naira notes at events, terminate defacing the naira and all of that. But if you look at the CBN Act, Section 21, I don't think, from my understanding of it, I don't think it's in the duty of the EFCC to arrest or prosecute those who are defacing the naira or abusing the naira. Because if you want to go by what that act says, I think section 2, 3, and 4 of that act, a lot more people would be arrested. Market women that sell and oil drops on the naira notes, they should be arrested as well, because that's defacing the naira notes. The teller in the bank who, in stamping, the envelope, makes a mistake and stamps on the naira notes should be arrested as well. The businessman who, in writing something, writes on the naira note should be arrested as well. I mean, the EFCC, I think they have enough personnel now, so they should be deployed to everywhere and arrest everybody that is found defacing or abusing the naira notes one way or another. But really, this is in the purview of the EFCC. Some Nigerians have also come out to say, the EFCC is doing a little too much in this regard. It's not in the duties. There are people committing financial crime. All right, there are a lot of Nigerians stealing the nation blind. Go after those. Go after those ones that are, committing actual financial crime, as against focusing on, personalities that are spraying monies at events. Well, talking about spraying monies, I think Nigerians should, this is not to support the spraying of notes, but Nigerians should also find a way. This has become a culture, spraying at events. So we should find a way, if you want to keep to this culture, find a way not to abuse the naira notes. Some have said, get dummy cash, all right, where you can, I know you can't buy the naira. That in itself is a crime. But you can exchange the value of a dummy cash for an actual cash. So you give the person having the event the actual cash, and then you spray the dummy cash if you still want to uphold the culture of spraying notes. But you see, it will take a lot for Nigerians to stop this tradition, because we've also seen that some Americans or some people in diaspora that come back to Nigeria to celebrate events also indulge in spraying the notes. We've seen, you mentioned the case of Okoya. Okoyas who were seen spraying notes sometime last year. They sprayed the notes. Now, they were not arrested, but the policeman who aided in spraying the note was called in for questioning. He was arrested. Oh, yes. No, that's not the video of the Okoyas. Is that the video of the Okoyas?
Yes, that's the video.
Okay, that's the video of the Okoyas spraying the note. But the policeman that was with them at the time was called in for questioning, but nothing was said. Oh, that's a policeman. He was holding the money, holding the money to be sprayed. So he was called in for questioning. But the Okoyas themselves were not invited. So you start to wonder, is this a status thing? Is EFCC, are they picking and choosing who to prosecute, who to drag down? Or is this a general thing? Are they just trying to save Nigeria from embarrassment? Anyway. Okay,
sorry, Fita. I just want to respond a few things about what Moses said. This is our culture, but I think it's one of the cultural impurities that we need to weed out of our system. It's spraying money. You also gave, more like a prescription of what we can do. If you go for an event and you probably want to spray 10,000 naira, you could have 11,000 naira, exchange it with a dummy note, for the real cash and all of that. It's going to help save our naira. So it comes to an orientation thing. That is what the National Orientation Agency should be doing. I can't recall the last time I saw a dollar note or a pound note that was squeezed. that had a mark on it or that was even dirty. I can't recall. I'm not saying that they don't have it, but I can't recall. So the value of our currency also speaks about how we regard our economy. So the National Orientation Agency, you need to sensitize Nigerians, educate Nigerians on the value of holding the naira. Personally, I find it difficult to squeeze the naira. Instead I fold it in my wallet, and somebody will just squeeze it like this and drop on your hands, and it doesn't look so good.
That's the role of the NOA.
NOA, yes, I understand. That's the role of the NOA.
Yes.
So if these people have committed a financial crime, like you talked about the CBN Act, is it within the purview of the EFCC to try them? And like you rightly said, I agree with you. Look, there are bigger things for the EFCC to do. But also, if you leave this within the police are they're also overwhelmed in all of this. And we understand what the Nigerian police force have become.
Is it the ones that will squeeze the naira and put in their pocket?
Is it the one that you ask to go and chase
you
somebody that has defaced the naira and all of that? They might even end up, I'm sorry, police, they might end up helping themselves, to defaced naira. So,
now, the thing is, if EFCC have come up to say that they had to call in Tompolo for questioning to know how come we have the amount of cash, we saw in the video displays, the one that have been sprayed on the masquerades. The spirits now also have money, Nigerian money too, 1,000 naira notes will be sprayed on them too. The ones also that we have, the stash of it that we also have also on display, and all that, then that will make a whole lot of sense. Now, when we talk about Nigerians abusing this our currency, Nigeria abusing naira, it's something that I see to be, we are the ones committing the crimes in a selective manner. I could recall when we had a cash crunch because of no naira in circulation then, when they wanted to change, they said they are printing new currency and all. I went for events during that period, and I could recall that we did not really see much cash, people spraying money on people. People resorted then to making transfers. They have transfer the account number of the people celebrating one or two. I went for a birthday party and I also made a transfer to the person, the celebrant now, because there was no cash there. I have not really been a person spraying money on people because it doesn't really speak good of me or anything. That is what we do most times actually to show off, to show Nigerians that we have money, to show the person sitting beside us, do you know how much I spent on some place and all that, which doesn't really make sense. The people that understand the importance of naira and the people that also have this money, you cannot see them. I'm sorry to say, without due respect to other persons who have been showing off, for people to say that they have money. You can't see them spray money. You can't see them do that. Politicians that have big money, they can only give handouts to persons around them, but you can never see them, spray this cash, because they will tell you that it boils back to people calling them to answer how they were able to get the money from, where they get the money from and all that. Now, EFCC they are doing quite a lot. They invited the mother of Pisilia, the Queen Mother herself, after her daughter's wedding, to come and answer why is it that some of her colleagues in the Nollywood industry also were seen spraying cash and all that. Some Nigerians also have resorted to spraying dollars instead of going for naira because they wouldn't want EFCC to come after them and all that. They've invited some persons, but for me, what I want to see today is that they will invite Tompolo himself, his government, they should invite him, ask him questions surrounding how the money in circulation, how the money we saw, on that Ijo celebration, how the money come to be. First, then it shouldn't be a case of questioning him. We've seen him; he was one that hosted the event, so he should also go in. I want to hear maybe he was being handed over maybe 3 months, 4 months, 5 months imprisonment and all that, and community work to do to show that he is remorseful from the abuse of naira, not just telling us that he's been invited. Away from that, we have more pressing things on our table today, and one of it is the issue of insecurity. We learned that bandit leader, Bello Turji, has reportedly forced over 5,000 residents to flee more than a dozen rural communities in Sokoto state, following threats of attack. The mass displacement, which occurred between Saturday and Sunday, affected Bafarawa and surrounding villages. The move is believed to be an attempt by Turji's group to punish local suspected of leaking information about their hideouts to the military. This is where the big issue is. Issue of insecurity, communities being sacked, people being forced out of their ancestral homes. In Borno State, yesterday, we learned that the governor also restricted, or rather halts the sale of petroleum products in some areas in the state because he noticed, or he got an intel that people now supply the PMS, that's maybe petrol or gas, diesel to the unscrupulous elements causing mayhem in Borno State. Now that authority have come up again to sack a particular community, Bafarawa people and people living within that particular vicinity. It's quite appalling. Every time Barrow authority will come up to give these, these commands, and we've not heard that this young man is dead. Remember what happened when it was Shakaru that we're looking for? They killed Shakaru more than 5,000 times. You check x.com, Nigerians are reacting. What is really wrong with our security operators? Why is it that a single man who is not a Nigerian, a dirty, ugly man, I'm sorry to say, who is not a Nigerian, is causing pain, inflicting pain on Nigerians, sacking communities, issuing threats, killing people, collecting levy from them, and yet he's still moving around freely? But if it were to be a little thing, they'll have intel on that. What is so big that we can't get this man out of Nigeria or send him back to where he's coming from, if I'm to use that word? Anyway, I believe the Sultan of Sokoto at this point in time also say something to this regarding this one. 5,000 residents being sacked. Where are they going to go to? Where then are they going to get the succor that they are looking for again if they cannot get that from Nigeria as a nation?
Well, it's embarrassing to Nigeria as a nation that a non-state actor is more feared than the government itself. Government, on many occasions, government have said, look, don't worry, nothing will happen to you. Stay in your villages, stay in your homes. But then these non-state actors will tell the people, run. And the people start to run because they know that these people can kill them and government will not protect them or cannot protect them. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. This individual, now, in fact, they even fear that he probably has some voodoo powers and cannot be killed. He probably has the powers to disappear. So that adds to the fear of him that they have. And government, the military now, should be able to bring this person to justice. They should be able to rein this person in as a way of instilling confidence in the populace. This person is placing levies on people, and these people still pay taxes to the government. So Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are suffering on all fronts, unfortunately, especially those in the rural communities. It's unfortunate to see this. 5,000 people left their homes for whatever reason. And they might say it's because they are informants to the police and all of that. But we know why these things are happening. We know that mineral these things are being mined in areas like this. So they tell the people to run, to leave their ancestral home, and they go, and some individuals will go there and mine and sell and make money. Unfortunately, that's the Nigeria that we are in. And you start to ask the question, when will government, put its foot on the ground and chase away these individuals and restore confidence to the people?
All right, Moses, I'm sorry, it's not for the sake of argument. You've said unfortunate 3 times. You've said it's embarrassing like 2 times. But I'm not sure that it's, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's quite unfortunate, but no society can ever change whatever it condones. So it's no longer embarrassing, it's no longer unfortunate, because that is what we have become as a people. And you're asking the military to do what? The military has already given up. They have told you that, look, the people causing these problems are foreigners. That's all. That's the final word, that the people causing these problems, this mayhem, are foreigners. So the military has settled that case as far as they are concerned. What they are telling us is now to know how to deal with it, because they are not Nigerians. It's like Nigeria has been taken over by foreigners. If people could come as far as wherever they are coming from outside the shores of this country and get to the center, the middle belt is in the center of Nigeria geographically, and they go there, displaced communities, rename those communities, chase away the people from the ancestral homes, and they live now in IDP camps while their homes are occupied by foreigners, and will have full officialdom of the military, from the chief of defense, from the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the Minister of Defense, Minister of State for Defense, National Security Advisor, the IGP of Police, DGSSS, and all of that, full officialdom in place. Nobody's career is damaged. Nobody says, look, unfortunately, I cannot do this job again. So what else do you want the military to do? We have given into it. So let's deal with it. Let's live with it. That is what they are telling us, to even protect ourselves, defend ourselves if we can, because looks like they can no longer do it. So what else do you want the military to do?
Quite unfortunate indeed. And that's how far we can go, talking about the trending topics that kept the social media buzzing. And it's time for us to take a quick peek on the cover page of the national dailies without wasting much time. We have before us the First News newspaper, the Daily Sun, the Vanguard newspaper, the New Telegraph, and a whole lot more. And I would like to start off from the First News newspaper today. Beside the masthead, Dangote Refinery offers 10 naira rebate, lowers effective petrol price to 825 naira. FG redeems 100 billion naira. Sokoto launches new 300 billion naira issue for infrastructure. Court fixes July 2 for trial of 109 foreigners accused of internet fraud. FG borrows 10.85 trillion naira domestically despite mounting debt warnings. Markets soar as US, China agree to drastic 90-day tariff reduction. The banner headline on the cover page of the First News newspaper. Under fire, 1.5 million UTME candidates petition jam over poor scores. Board bows to pressure, orders review of 2025 exam. We have the major pictorial there from I guess that was a burial of Pa Edwin Clark, where we have Nigerian dignitaries there. We have them, Patience Jonathan, have Jonathan there too. Peter Obi also made it to that picture. And beneath that, ISWAP terrorists overrun military base, kill 4 soldiers in Borno made. Fubara visited me with 2 APC governors, wants peace, Wike. And the bottom strip headline, UK bans overseas care worker visas. Those are the stories you find on the cover page of the First News newspaper today.
All right, then let's go to the Punch newspaper. The Punch has these headlines. 54.9 trillion naira budget. FG World Bank at odds over funding strategy. The writers. Bank fears government may resort to CBN emergency funds. Faults budget parameters. Minister counters. We also have why Tinubu will defeat PDP again in 2027. Wike Saraki heads 7-man PDP reconciliation panel. Oil drilling to resume in North, NNPCL. Restructuring. FG deploys special teams to underperforming discos. And also Bielsa set to immortalize Clark amid tributes from Jonathan Dury. UK unveils plan to slash annual immigration by 100,000. Lagos APC aspirants protest today over LG primaries. Push to crash drug prices gains FEC approval. Now, those are the headlines on the Punch newspaper.
Okay, let's quickly run through the Daily Trust newspaper with the window headlines. Expect electoral reform before 2027. That's coming from the INEC chair. Damagum's tenure. National Secretary position threatened PDP NEC convention. Flying Eagles dethrone Senegal, qualify for World Cup. Now, the big story, World Bank queries NNPCL's remittance of subsidy proceeds. And there are more stories there. Another major headline, Boko Haram launches attack on another military base in Borno. And the bottom strip headlines, bandits abduct 5 persons from Plateau Market. We will continue oil search in North Ojulari. Man sentenced to death for killing friend over cap. And that's all from Daily Trust newspaper.
And that's how far we can go, taking a quick peep on the cover page of the National Dailies. Do well to join Chukuma and Moses for the newspaper review proper, and that will be on top of the hour at 10 a.m. here on Voice of the People Television. We'll go on a quick break, and when we'll come back, we'll dissect this topic that says, Wike confirms Fubara's visit as the suspended governor of Fubara declares he no longer wishes to govern, says his spirit has left the office. Do well to join us.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOB TV. Thanks.
Hey guys, what's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
Hello guys, I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the fans and lovers of VOP TV. My name is Tayo Fanyuro. I'm an actor that you are going to live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
Hi everyone, so shout out to VOP TV.
Step into a world where stories unfold, secrets unravel, and dreams come alive. Every story.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, has confirmed that suspended River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara recently visited him in Abuja as part of ongoing effort towards reconciliation. Wike revealed that Fubara was accompanied by 2 governors and an elder statesman, noting that the visit followed the president's repeated calls for peace, which he said is willing to support. Meanwhile, Governor Fubara has downplayed concerns about returning to office, suggesting he is no longer emotionally invested in the position. And he made this known at the service of songs for late Edwin Clark in Port Harcourt. Fubara distanced himself from remarks made by attendees who criticized his suspension, saying their views were personal and not representative of his own. Interesting one. River State politics still ongoing, as the case may be. We have with us, though joining us from our Oka studio, we have Dennis Akemeze, who is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Dr. Dennis Akemeze. Good to have you join today's conversation. Now, interestingly, let's get your opinion on this. On one hand, you have the FCT minister, affirming that the suspended governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara, visited him. So he tagged that an effort, ongoing efforts for restoration of peace and reconciliation. But now Fubara have come up to say that he's no longer emotionally sound for him to take over that office. What does this really portend? What do you make of this? Is it that we're seeing another scenario playing out pretty soon in River State? Dr. Dennis. We'd like you to unmute your device for proper communication. All right, I guess we're having a technical issue here, in this particular case. Now, Chukuma, if you check this particular story, when I saw that yesterday on X, some persons were like, it's like some people in Nigeria don't even understand how Nigerian politics plays. Some of the opinion that some persons should have been a boy. Why turn out to be the boss? You're ready to be, to do what the bosses used to do. And if you check out what is playing out there, some have accused Fubara of not having the stomach to take in Nigerian politics and the way the standard is.
Yes, I also said that. I said that at some point that, looks like Fubara doesn't have the stomach for Nigerian politics, because if he had the stomach for Nigerian politics, he wouldn't have been too quick in trying to dismantle Wike's structure in River State. And I did cite instances in places where, governors, unfortunately, I think unfortunately for us, that is how our politics is structured now. We have that culture of godfatherism. People can continue to live in self-denial, but that is what it is at this point of our political development. We have that culture of godfatherism. Like it's called, in political science, it's called the big man syndrome. There's a big man who sits out there and determines what happens within society. Like Sir Ivor Jennings said that, look, the people cannot decide until someone decides who the people are. So in Port Harcourt, in River State, for 8 years, it was Wike that decided what happened in River State. And he was the one that single-handedly, it's out there, he's not denied it, that he was
bought forms for everybody.
Bought forms for everybody. I made you governor, best for me, and a John man. in Rivers State can never be governor. So I made it possible. So you should be very subservient to me. You owe that office to me. Even in where again, in another, he mentioned another places where Ijom people, except in Bayelsa State, where an Ijom man can effectively become a governor. But I made it possible for you in Rivers State. So you owe me a lot.
Yeah.
So that is what it is now.
But the thing is this.
I'm sorry.
All right.
So Fubara was too quick in trying to dismantle Wike structure. In Abia State, we had a situation like that, where we had TAOG and OUK.
Yeah.
And so what apparently happened was that after 8 years of OUK, he installed TA, who was, by the way, in jail when the elections were conducted. He came out and assumed his position as governor, and moved party from PPA to PDP, none of that.
Nelson Mandela of Nigeria.
So OG practically took 4 years of TA's administration, and TA was patient, for 4 years. So when he got into second term, he now became his own man and started dismantling OUK's structure. Unfortunately for him, or fortunately, he did the same thing to Okezie.
But if you check,
so he took 4 years. He now took a balance of his 4 years from Okezie's first 4 years.
Exactly.
But Okezie was not able to do that because Oti came and cut the trade. So in Enugu State, it happened. Sullivan was there. It was after his first tenure that he started dismantling Chimaroke's structure. But I think Fubara was so much in a hurry. So when people say that he doesn't have a stomach for Nigerian politics, he's more like he's a civil servant. He's not a core politician.
I think.
But he learned from his principal. He was Wike's right-hand man for 8 years. So if you say he didn't
have that problem.
But no, he don't. Check it out. Just check the
trade.
Amechi was also there.
Install him as president.
But Amechi actually gave him another trouble.
No, Amechi didn't.
Check it out.
Amechi did not. Wike didn't have an internal godfather because it wasn't Amechi that installed him as governor. It was through Jonathan and Jonathan
and all that.
Exactly.
But you also know that still there was also an issue there when he came in.
There was an issue, but it had nothing to do with dismantling the structure.
But now,
I would want to move away from, the godfatherism because it has come to stay. That's what we are having. That's unfortunately that's what we have in Nigeria. But the only way for the powers of the godfathers to be reduced is if the nomination forms, the expression of interest forms by the parties are brought down. If it's made affordable, I'm sure people with, a strong desire, strong will to contest will have the money to get forms and contest elections.
But people will tell you that we have other political parties.
Gandu just said that too many cooks spoil the
broth.
Broth at this point. But we have political parties that sell their forms at cheap rate. We have political parties that their forms is already cost a fortune.
I don't want to lose my train of thought. I don't want to lose my train of thought. So if that is done, then individuals, with good intention will be able to vie for political office, and maybe godfatherism will be largely depleted. But away from all of that, I think the governor, he was suspended, but I think his salaries are still being paid, right?
On top of my head, I can't.
I would like to believe he's still being paid.
Okay.
I like to believe that. Now, if that be the case, I think he was ill-advised to, start trying to dismantle Wike's structure at the time that he did. He was ill-advised. But now that he basically has turned his back on those that are supporting him, I don't think he will have a good ride if he gets back into office. Because now he's telling people that, look, I know your intentions are noble, but they have worsened my situation. Mm-hmm. So please, stop.
So I'm not sure he's turning his back on them. He's trying to play the real politics now.
He's trying to getting
back, of getting back to the office first. All these, Nigerian things now. All these people that feel alienated now, they will all go back to him.
But don't you also perceive the fact that maybe what he was asked to do, when he went for the reconciliation and the peace route and all that, maybe the thing that he brought before him now to say, these are the conditions for you to be restated. Don't think that maybe that might be the reason he'll be like, okay, I'm no longer interested in this.
We
I
need
don't
to
really have
be
emotional
told what he
strength
was asked to do.
We
in the
don't know
first
the
that's
place.
condition.
Because
We don't know the condition.
Wike has kept saying that he should do what he's been told to do. So what is that thing that he's been told to do? Is he also guilty of some sort of crime? Remember, he was basically the accountant
general.
Yes.
Of the state.
So he might have signed up some monies, and that might implicate him as well.
And Wike has also always been saying, go and tell people what happened, the real issue.
Exactly.
So what are the real issues between the two of them? Nigerians don't even know.
So
Nigerians look like the president knows what the issues are.
Well,
they will lay that before him. He's the number one man. He should know.
And so that is why the president is more measured, in trying to get into all of that with full force.
But in all of this, I think the people are the ones that are suffering in all of this.
Are the people suffering?
Yes, the people are suffering.
They have a sole administrator.
Exactly.
Is governance?
Which governance?
Is governance?
Which governance?
Their phones have been released back to them. So
it's not. We are practicing democracy.
Which democracy, Otumba?
We are practicing democracy in Nigeria.
Okay.
In a democratic setting, can you effectively say that a sole administrator will uphold the rights of the people? I don't think so.
See,
people will not have liberty.
I'm happy you have brought us to this point again. Democracy does not essentially guarantee economic growth and economic freedom and well-being. What guarantees democracy on the reverse side is economic growth and well-being.
Yes.
When the people are free in terms of their finances, when the people have good income, purchasing power is high, people at that point determine, look, let's go back a little bit in history. In Europe, it wasn't democracy that gave birth to economic prosperity. It was economic prosperity that gave birth to democracy. Because at a point, during the realm of feudalism, when you have the nobles, the estates, and all of that, so people were like, what can we do? It was at that point when feudalism became decimated, there was economic prosperity after the Glorious Revolution in England and all of that, and the French Revolution, and people now said, look, no, enough of this. What do you mean by nobility? Who is noble? All of us were born with equal rights and the same right. So it was at that time, because people were well fed now, they had economic prosperity. It was at that time that they started angling for democracy, which they have now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go back to school later. But in the meantime, let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation.
Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP this morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Thank you so much for still being part of today's VOP this morning. Like we told you earlier, we're dissecting the stories surrounding the River State politics, and we have been joined today by Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOP TV in-house analyst. Good morning, Barrister Darlington.
Good morning, Fina, Moses, and Mr. Cole.
Good morning, Barrister.
How are you all?
Welcome to the conversation.
Now, Barrister Darlington, quite interesting. Yesterday, Wike made a revelation saying that Fubara came to beg him for reconciliation process in his house in Abuja, and then he went with 2 APC governors. And I think it was said yesterday again that Fubara made a statement that he's no longer emotionally interested in the River State politics or in the River State governance. What do we have to make, or what do you make of this? So, given the fact that we have people who are supporters of Simlai Fubara who have criticized the state of emergency declaration in River State, and now he's coming up to tell them that their criticism happens to be their own opinion or their view, not really his.
Yes, what cannot be helped should be endured. I think Fubara, you know, they say he who fights and run away fights another day. Is that not? So if the man have tried all he could and they are still making it difficult for him, I mean, if you throw in the towel, it's not a do or die affair. I mean, how many people are in River State? If I'm not mistaken, about 6 million or so. All of them cannot be governor. So if you have tried your best, the whole world has seen your effort and everything, how you have been intimidated, how you have been, harassed, how you have been muzzled down, and they claim that they have power. You know, leave it for God. God has a way of settling things. And for Wike talking the way we're talking, I was just say, look at it.
Now, Barrister.
The man is playing God.
Barrister,
Just,
let's look at the parties involved here, the political parties in particular. Fubara has been having it tough with his godfather from the same party. And at the end of the day, when he went pleading, he went with APC governors. Yes, I understand 11 PDP governors, have taken the issue of a sole administrator to court. But does it seem like the PDP can help its own if APC governors are the one going to beg a PDP former governor and APC minister?
Now, let me tell you, there are certain errands you don't run. It will be the height of insult and embarrassment if any PDP person had followed Fubara to go and beg Wike.
How so?
It's unnecessary, seriously. Even the begging, but Fubara said he's doing it for the peace of River State, which is understandable. But for the PDP people, that Wike have
brought... Why would it be embarrassing?
Sorry?
Why would it be embarrassing?
It's an insult on his own. In fact, I like what they did, I'm sure.
Isn't it part of the PDP putting its house in order?
No. This is not how putting any house in order. What are you saying? To go and beg Wike for what? On what ground? For what reason?
We know the influence he wields.
Is that what?
We know the influence he wields.
No, it's not within any. No. It's not
within the party.
No. Wike have no single influence.
No, Barrister.
Are you speaking?
I am telling you, Wike have no single influence, no power at all.
If you say he doesn't have power, Barrister Darlington.
What are you talking about?
He went for the governors' forums meeting that happened yesterday or 2 days ago. Wike was there, and he attended that meeting because he said he wanted to make sure he brought back PDP to where PDP used to be, even though he said he's not supporting any PDP presidential candidate, but he's ready to bring out more governors under the platform of PDP. Why is it that Wike was not being asked to leave if you think he does not have such power?
Leave that thing. Wike have no power. He realized
Are you speaking factually or you're
I
speaking
am
emotionally?
telling you, listen very well, listen.
Are you speaking factually or emotionally?
It's a matter of time before you realize that Wike is a spent force.
Okay, but Barrister, being a spent force, which means he's a force now. He's a force that is still active, not yet spent.
Even before now.
Because you said it is with time that you realize that he's a spent force.
Remove Tinubu from him. Can Wike do anything?
Tinubu, so he's acting with Tinubu.
But when you are saying that he has the power, he did that as if it's his own. No. It's like a child whose father was sent to go and rob the neighbor. And he got there with all force and muscle. Is it the boy or the father that is behind it?
People of the opinion that Wike is the one that still kept PDP burning the way it is now. Remember that after the election, it's more like all the other bigwigs in PDP, they went into hiding. Wike have been the one also sponsoring the party activities. It is their record, you know. And Wike also have been championing most of the activities of PDP. Now, when you say he doesn't have the power, he pays their debt, he clears the debt and all that. So how can then you not say that Wike doesn't have power?
Look, please, let me say this, please. If we continue to tolerate people like Wike, then very soon our democracy will collapse.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
it will
But
die.
Barrister, let's go to the issue at stake now. And the issue is that, look, there are overtures, you know. Fubara has made overtures to the president. He visited him in the UK. Now he's gone to Fubara's house before. And again, he went back for the second time with 2 APC governors. To Wike's house. Yeah. And Wike keeps saying, look, okay, Wike says, now, I think the president wants us to make peace. I cannot disobey the president. I want to make peace too. Looks like Fubara is now sincere in trying to make peace. But before now, he has been asking, he's been telling Wike, Fubara, go, and the president says, go and tell the people what the problem is. Go, and there are conditions that were given to you. Go and follow those conditions. Do you, by chance, have you heard anywhere what those conditions are?
They did not tell us. Another thing I want to know, Wike cannot be dictating terms in the River State. It's uncalled for. All those nonsense he's talking about, I expected it to go to court. If there's any agreement, Mr. Okoro, any agreement that is tainted with evil motive, that is against national norm, that is what's it called, opprobrious, you don't go to court to enforce such an agreement.
But Barrister, are you being realistic here?
What are you saying?
Being idealistic?
Because they had an agreement, and that Fubara reneged on that agreement. Go to court now to enforce it. What are you talking about realistic? That will tell you that whatever he had with Fubara is an evil agreement that cannot stand anywhere. Is that what you want the man now to continue to obey?
Barrister, is it not standing? There is crisis in River State because of 2 people.
No. There is not.
And you say that Wike doesn't have power.
No, he doesn't. Seriously, he doesn't.
So what's going on in River State?
No. Who
is holding River State down?
Hold on. It's just that they took advantage of Fubara's gentility. Mr. Okoro, when Orji Kanu was the governor of Abia State, almost the same thing. He wanted to, in fact, here Orji won election while in detention in Kirikiri here. Now, what happened? Orji Kanu did everything, you know. So when he came out, he took him to Eketenshi Shrine in Abia State to go and swear oath of allegiance and all that to him, Kanu, who made him. Is that not true? So when Orji came out and became the governor, did he follow that nonsense?
He did.
He did not.
For 4 years.
He did not. That was
for 4 years.
No.
For 4 good years.
No. He did not.
For 4 good years. TA was under the terms of UK and his mother.
Hold on. At the end of what happened?
It was during his second tenure that he was able to dismantle UK structure.
Okay, you can see now. So it was eventually dismantled, Abi?
No, so when people say that, look, Fubara doesn't have the stomach for politics, that he was too quick in trying to dismantle Wike's structure. Do you still believe that Wike is not a force to reckon with in River State?
What force? It's not that he allowed...
The force that is keeping River State down.
Hold on. You are not agreeing with me that Orji was able to dismantle whatever.
After 4 years.
Look, don't talk about the time. The fact remains that the man freed Abia and freed himself from Kanu.
Did he free Abia?
Yes, he did. To an extent, he did. So the same thing is going on in River State, and I'm saying is that we should not tolerate what Wike is doing as the norm, because if every other governor that is living off will begin to behave like that, Mr. Okoro, where do you think we are going?
Nobody is supporting whatever. We are just holding a conversation.
No, we should condemn it. I don't want to enter that conversation because it is normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's an aberration, and we should see it as what it is.
Wike has said that Seminalaye Fubara should go back and tell the people the true reason for the feud. And after that statement was made, Seminalaye Fubara at an event said, look, why are you speaking for me? Speaking to the people, of course. Why are you speaking for me? Your actions have worsened my situation. Are you even sure I want to return to office? Anyway, let's take the video where that statement was made.
Do you think I am even interested in going back there? I want to ask you, don't you see how better I look? Do you think I'm interested in it? If I have my way, I say it's here. This is an altar of God. I don't wish going back there. My spirit has left that place long ago. So all this, I want everybody to focus. Please, it's not everything you do. You think there's some fight you don't fight. There's some things you don't do because you need to ask the person. Does he want it? I have peace. If you have known me, if they see me, you can say I look better now. In as much as we have things that we need to do for our state, we know people have made sacrifice for us, and we, one way or the other, have to stand by them. Does not mean that we should start firing without any target. We need to
well, there you have it. There you have it. The governor speaking. He has peace, he says, but he went to beg. Is this politics at play? Is this politics at play? Or are we seeing a situation where he's also trying to cover his own tracks, Barrister Darlington?
No. What the man said, he's speaking from his heart.
That he has peace and he may not be interested in going back to office.
Exactly, because...
So should the lawmakers proceed to impeach him, or should he just resign?
If somebody leaves out, what is the need of impeachment again?
Should he just resign then?
No.
And let elections be conducted for somebody else?
No, it has not gotten to that level. Let this thing play out on his own. They put a state of emergency in Rivers State. Is that not true? And put a sole administration. Has it been resolved? The answer is no. So the man is keeping away for now. And let him stay away.
Keeping away but pleading for forgiveness. Keeping away but begging for forgiveness.
No, hold on. He said he came for peace. And that is what any normal human being could have done. You see, there is something about Fubara. They have taken advantage of that man for too long. I won't take it. I won't tolerate it seriously.
Is he a weak person?
I think they think that he is. They think he's a weak person. That's why they are insulting him.
As the governor. Do you think he's a weak person? Do you think he's a weak person?
From the look of things, it looks like. Because a Wike cannot do what he did. A Wike can never do it. Wike can never. I don't even think you can apologize to God.
So being reserved and conservative now, Barrister, does this speak to being weak?
Does it take weakness?
No, it's not. No, this is not being conservative or whatever. No. I think he's playing weak now. From the stand of from where I stand now, I see Fubara as a weak man.
Isn't that how normal politics should be played?
No.
Recall that after the election that happened in 2015, the then president said that no blood of a Nigerian won that particular
that one
seat,
is
and
different.
He steps aside. Now, don't you think that this is also what is playing out in Rivers State?
No, that one was an election. The man didn't want to cause problem. But this one, your office, your personality have been insulted. They did things that are unconstitutional against you, and they still want you to come and apologize. Is that hard to find peace?
No, I'm talking about the office, Barrister.
Why is everybody going to court against what they did?
Now, this particular man did not come up to refute the claim of Wike when he said that he bought forms for everybody. And you also recall that Wike also made a statement that I made you governor and all of that. Now, when you talk about his office being abused, is it that he's not aware of all the things that happened before he came in to become the governor?
Let us not go through that route. Look, in political struggle, there are many non-state actors that have helped one person, either one way or the other. Is that not true? Now, remember what happened in 2023 election, especially in Lagos here. You saw the role MC Oluomo played here for his master in Abuja. Why is the Oluomo now telling Tinubu, you must make me minister?
We'll have to wrap up this conversation. Not entirely, because when we come back, we'll be joined by Prince Francis Chilaka, and we'll like his view on this conversation. All right? We'll get his view on this conversation before we go into the other conversation that we have on our table this morning. So we'll be, just a sample opinion here and there. Now, we'll also be talking about a statement made by Lamido saying that the PDP is dead. He said, we'll soon welcome you to the APCs. That's Ganduje speaking to Lamido, of course. Well, we'll talk about this when we come back. Join us again.
extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Welcome back to the conversation. Now, before we get into the next conversation, let's welcome Prince Francis Chilaka. Prince Francis, good morning to you. Welcome to the conversation. Quickly, let's just take five minutes, talk about the the Wike Fubara feud and the statement that he made. I mean, you've been around, so you heard everything. You heard all the conversation. Let's get your thoughts on that before we go into this next conversation.
Well, I think I would like to start from Wike. Over time, Wike has continued to position himself as someone who seems to have a magic wand. And he keeps, bringing things out and throwing it out and all of that. But I also see it on the other side. I don't know whether to call it naivety or to call it strength, or to call it cunningness on the part of Fubara. Fubara right now seems...
weakness.
Yeah, I won't use that word, weakness. Politicians try to avoid that word, saying that they are weak, even though when we know that they are weak. But I just feel that at this point in time, Fubara is not even sure of what he wants. He's not sure whether he wants to continue to be a governor, whether he wants to continue to lick the ass of Wike or what. So these are issues, but we need to understand that in any power struggle, basically there are three outcomes. One side wins, the other side, wins or loses, or both sides will lose at the same time.
All right then.
So as it is right now, I just think that the whole thing happening in Rivers State is getting to crescendo.
Okay.
Yes. It's getting to crescendo. But I can tell you this. Wike power, his power derives from the fact that he's a minister. Fubara's power right now derives from the people. But if he fails the people, he will lose completely.
Okay, and you don't think he's failing the people by saying that, look, what you're doing is putting me in more trouble? Isn't that failing the people?
No. You see,
That's
the
not
thing
failing
is,
people.
you know, with politicians, a lot of them don't take responsibility.
Okay.
And that is their nature. So,
All right.
Fubara is indirectly not taking responsibility. Because these people won't do these things if they believe that he doesn't support it.
Prompted. Okay, well, let's go to the main conversation, where our second conversation. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has dismissed claims that he plans to return to the People's Democratic Party, PDP, insisting he remains fully committed to the ruling APC. Reacting to comments from former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, who predicted an of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has the lens on him again. He has warned the PDP not to repeat the strategic mistake of the 2023 election, urging the party to zone its 2027 presidential ticket to the south. He criticized the PDP leadership for sidelining efforts at party reconciliation and instead targeting him personally. Wike emphasized that a strong opposition must act with discipline and vision, not internal conflict and misdirection. Interesting politics we play in Nigeria. Wike speaking from both sides of his mouth, because he did say he will support Tinubu in 2027, but he is also canvassing for, the EP to take power in 2027. Oh well, we have joining us virtually from our outstation, Oka, Dennis Ekemezie, who is a public affairs commentator. Let's establish contact with you. Good morning to you. I do understand that you joined I think you joined the first conversation and we had a little bit of an issue there. Okay, we'll come back to you. Doesn't that speak to his influence?
Sorry?
Doesn't that speak to the influence he wields? Whether or not the APC, members of the APC are happy with him, the bottom line is the president seems happy with him. For his sake, the president instructed that the funds in the PDP do not go to, that account goes directly to him so he could develop the FCT. Doesn't he? Aren't you seeing some influence here?
Moses, do you know why most kingdoms fail? All the kingdoms we are hearing, from UK, British Kingdom to Ottoman Kingdom to all the kingdoms we know in
empires?
Empires, it's the same thing. Empire, kingdom, yeah. You know why they fail? It's because of this type of arrogance, In fact, that of Russian Empire, the behemoth called USSR.
Okay.
When they become too big and too arrogant and feel that there is no God and all that, eventually, where are they today? So that's why I'm so optimistic that at the end of the day, these things will crash.
Now, Barrister, when you say
it will crash, yes, it will.
Wike made a statement. He pointed out to the 2023 internal wrangling and that happened in PDP that made the party to be divided. He now also is talking about zoning the presidential ticket to the south. Are we seeing Wike coming up to contest against the president, whom he has been supporting all this while? Or are we seeing him again giving free form to another southerner under the PDP as a platform?
The essence of what he's saying is that if the thing remains in the south, that means Tinubu may not have a strong opposition. Because if we remain in the south here, who will not be challenging Tinubu financially?
That's so he's indirectly working for the president.
He has said it already.
Of 2023 in 2027. So PDP ticket should not go to the north; it should come to the south. If you had, as an analyst, help us to understand: is Wike actually supporting the president, or does he want to weaken his base? Let us look at what is left of the PDP in the south. We have Enugu State, we have Bayelsa, we still have, Akwa Ibom, we still have Akwa Ibom. Rivers is neither here nor there. So in all of this, if Wike is asking, and mind you, the South has always been PDP. Whatever the governors are, whether the governors are in APC or what, South has always been PDP, especially the South and the Southeast. So if Wike is angling for the ticket of the PDP to come down south in 2027, So people are looking at Sheyi Makinde, you know, of the Oyo State, within the PDP, and you know he's Wike's man Friday. So in all of this, are you able to help the president for 2027 or to divide his votes in the South, knowing clearly that the North is more like ganging up a bit against the president?
Wike is a man you cannot trust. And when you have a politician you cannot trust, you must be very careful. If you followed up to the run-up to 2023 elections, if you have taken time and told you that anybody that says he wants to continue with the legacy of Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
of Muhammad Buhari,
is a sick person. And I also recall he once said that anybody that joins APC is not worth the salt. So you have a man who you cannot hold him, so to say. He is not a man you can trust. That's just how to define Wike.
So should the president be wary of
him? No. If you know Bola Ahmed Tinubu very well, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very wary of Wike.
He is?
Yes, he is. Even the inner circle of his government, they are wary of Wike. Because you can't predict the man. Today he says one thing. Tomorrow he's doing a different thing. He always wants to be in the media. He always wants to be the showman. He wants to win the accolade. So such a man, you cannot trust him. So the problem in PDP, now let me put it this way. Wike asking that they zone it to the South. I can assure you that if you remove Atiku, who's the next strong person in PDP? It's Wike. Okay. And don't you think that Wike, as he sits, believes that he is equal to the task of being a president? If the opportunity comes tomorrow for Wike to contest against his boss, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he will go for it.
No, if you talk about PDP in that way, Prince Francis, Wike is not the only person tilting towards the president's administration and giving the support to them. We have Dem Patient Jonathan yesterday also declare her own support, and you know within yourself that yes, the husband was the last president that PDP provided or produced, and then she's saying that she is going to support the Asiwa Jews. She's going to throw her weight behind them, give them support for 2027 election, distancing herself from anything that has to do with PDP presidential.
Fina, let me start by asking you, what is the political relevance of Patience right now?
You can't take it out.
No. I'm coming to that. Look at the problem you have in Rivers State. Who foisted Wike on Rivers people? Is it not Patience Jonathan? In all the things that happened in Rivers where he was handed over to Peter Odili, did you see Jonathan there? In all of this whole shenanigans that the wife is going about, have you seen Jonathan talk? So leave Patience. You see, if Patience is a woman who understands history, the things she said, she shouldn't have said them. She shouldn't have said them. When people gathered in Ojota, who was the arrowhead? She has forgotten.
Isn't that the way Nigerian politics is
being
played?
So that's the point is, it's not about support for the president. It's about survival. This is the same woman that her aides are still in prison.
Allegedly.
It's not allegedly. It's in the media. Her aides are in the prison. What has she done? And then this woman that all of a sudden,
if you're taking this out on the woman, Goodluck himself has acted as envoy for the APC.
In what way?
He has had to go to other countries on behalf of the APC.
He has gone on behalf of the government, not APC.
The APC government.
No. See, we need to understand there's a difference between the party and governance. And because we are not able to separate it, that's why we keep having problems in this country. We need to separate it. For the fact that APC is in government does not mean that other Nigerians who have value cannot add value if the opportunity arises. Okay. And that's what good governance is all about.
Prince, we have to go to Oka now, but before we go to Oka, one last question for you. You said something about if Wike has a chance to run against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he will do that. I want us to create a matrix box, more like a political chess game, and put Wike and Tinubu as candidates for 2027. What do you think will happen? Both of them being Southerners.
You see, obviously 2027 is going to be a Southerner a southern war.
You think so?
I know so. It's going to be you see, you know there's this unwritten agreement that says each zone must do 8 years. It's unwritten. And suddenly, that unwritten agreement has become our way of life. So anybody that tries to, upset it will have a big problem.
So why do you think it's going to be a southern thing, a south thing?
It is going to be a south thing because at the end of the day, you're going to have, in PDP, you're going to write it down. I've said this severally.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it again. Atiku will not contest 2027.
Okay.
Okay, so you think the PDP ticket will come south?
It will come south.
And Obi, it will come south. And Obi is there too.
Well, Obi is one name you cannot throw away from 2027.
Okay, so does that practically hand over the presidency of 2027 to the North? If you have it, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, probably a Nyesom Wike or a PDP southern candidate and a P2B from the south, then isn't that practically taking power back to the North in 2027? Because the North will present one candidate.
No. The North will not present any candidates. The North is smarter than you really think.
For the whole merger talk permutation?
The North, I think the problem with us as Nigerians is that we're looking at it from a myopic.
All right, let's take this conversation to Oka, where we have Dennis Ekemezie, who is a public affairs commentator. Good morning to you. Let's establish contact with you now.
Good morning.
Oh, great to have you join us. Now, let's have your reaction to this. You're chuckling already, so I do believe you've been following the conversation. Talk to us.
Well, do I start from Fubara or do I start Wike's game?
No, let's just stay within this conversation now. The Wike's game, as you put it.
Well, Wike, as we know him, feels that he's a strong man, and strong man in the sense that he feels that he has all it takes in terms of money, and which makes him a stiff power broker, both in the south and then the south general. And from the game he's playing, just like Agommo said, Wike is, do I call him a chameleon? Blowing hot and cold, and while doing so, you will not be able to know his intention. He hides his intention, though he presents that he's saying that he will let you know his intention, but his intention is hidden, and that's what makes him at times people will not hold him so much reliable, trustworthy, and that is where the problem is with him. Because he has acquired so more money, he feels that he's so powerful, more especially now that he anchors within the framework of the APC government, serving two masters at a time.
Now, do you think he will be the downfall of Tinubu in 2027, seeing that a lot of APC politicians are not on his side, really? A lot of them are wary of him. They feel he's double standard.
I'm even seeing a situation where Tinubu will dump Wike very soon, having learned his antecedents. I'm feeling so, because if you watch the way Fubara is doing, it's not because Fubara is naive, but because Fubara is seeing the two devils, or trying to play which one will be better for him.
All right.
The devil you know is an angel you don't know. And that is the situation with the Wike, and then the current scenario playing out towards 2027.
And that will also lead to more persons also talking down on the present administration and the president. Recall what happened when the likes of Nasser El-Rufai was also ousted. He is not resting, as the case may be. There's permutation that he is going into SDP for personal vendetta. But let's bring in Mr. Jide Ojo, who is a public affairs analyst and a columnist with the Punch to join today's conversation. Good morning, Mr. Jide Ojo.
Good morning, my sister. How are you today?
I'm good. Good to have you. It's been a long time.
Yeah. We thank God for grace.
All right, let's look at what like Ganduje, said. He dismisses claim that there's plans for him to return back to PDP, and he also made a statement that that the PDP is dead. And he was saying this to Sule Lamido when he also predicted that APC will collapse very soon because of the persons moving into it and all that. Now, do you think that PDP as a political party is dead with all that is happening in that party at this time?
I don't. You see, those big bats among politicians are not to be taken to heart, because I consider it like a banter. You can't say a party with 11 governors is dead, and never say never. When you say I will never go back to a particular party, times and season happens to everything. Politicians only care about their interest, not about well-being of any citizen. So today, his bread is buttered in APC, considering the fact that he's the national chairman, Ganduje, and he's having it rosy because the presidency has not committed to throw him under the bus for corruption allegations that have been leveled against him by the immediate past, by the current administration, I mean to say. You could recall that if not for the fact that the president and the presidency is behind it, you could have been given your Chaya's treatment, or which is secondary treatment, or Oshomale's treatment. So I'm not sure it's something that we should take to heart that PDP is dead. PDP cannot die. PDP is in retreat.
Okay.
But it's doing everything to reconcile itself. They just set up a reconciliation committee under the former president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, yesterday.
Okay.
Let's see what comes out of that reconciliation effort.
All right. As we wait to see what comes out, the governor of Akwa Ibom has said that, look, he's supporting Tinubu for 2027. And we also see a situation whereby some other governors, PDP, governors within the PDP, are, saying they will give their support for Tinubu or to Tinubu in 2027. Do you foresee a situation whereby Siminalayi Fubara might defect to the APC to save his head?
There is nothing that should be taken off the table with politicians. I didn't see it coming that Sheriff Oborowori of Delta would defect to APC, but it has happened. How much more Fubara, who is under persecution? So he will do what he has to do for his political survival. Power is sweet. Nobody wants to leave power. Forget what he's saying that he's not desperate. That is just for the optics. He knew he's desperate. He knew what he has lost. The self-esteem lost in the last 2-3 months that has been under suspension. He knew the resources that he has lost. He knew that he is supposed to enjoy this thing for minimum of 4 years. But unfortunately, the tides have turned against him. So if he needs to defect to APC to secure a reinstatement, he will do it.
Okay.
After we learned he has gone to prostrate for Wike to beg him last month.
All right, Dr. Ojo, let me stay with you. I would like for us to talk a bit about what's going on in the PDP with regard to Nyesom Wike saying that, look, PDP, you should not repeat the mistake of 2023. This time around, you have to give your ticket to the south, not to the north. And just last week, the same Wike said he's in total support of the Tinubu presidency in 2027. So can you help us situate both positions? Is it trying to weaken the president's base in the south, when there is also a likelihood that a Peter Obi of Labour Party or wherever party he decides to go to will also likely get a presidential ticket in 2027. With 3 Southerners, you know, in the fray at the presidential level, you know very clearly that the North, there's a gang up against the current president by the North. Isn't that practically handing over the presidency to the North in 2027, when the South is yet to complete its 8-year tenure? What's your reaction to Wike's position and all that he's doing?
Well, Wike is just one individual within the PDP fold, and he made no pretense about where his interest and alliance lies. He has said that he's with President Tinubu for 2027. And we learned that the reason why the president has tolerated his excesses is because he wants him to win FCT and Rivers State for him. He's one individual, but with a man with a lot of resources and political sagacity. So, whether we have 3 strong candidates from the South or we have a mix, the race for 2027 is for the incumbent to lose. The reason why I said that, and I'm not overbearing or thinking that there will be no contest, Tinubu is one person who knows how to use resources, and it's not just financial resources, including human resources. He has a knack for fishing out, you know, he has a knack for politics, let me put it that broadly. So what is he doing? Whether we have Peter Obi, we have someone from the South, from PDP, and we have Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the odds still favor Tinubu in the sense that look at his bloated cabinet. Look at how many former governors are there. Even when they are not performing, he kept them there. He has given North Ministry of Livestock Development. He has given them Northwest Development Commission, North Central Development Commission, and a number of choice appointments. So the North under Tinubu cannot claim marginalization. And he's doing everything because he knows he needs the vote of the North in 2027. Forget about the fact that, yes, there will be division of votes in the South if there are 3 strong candidates from the South. That is why he's cutting the North with all manner of greasy, setting up ministries, commissions, making sure that he does not have any fight with
running out of time
the power brokers
for
in
this
the North.
conversation,
You could see,
and we'd like to wrap this
that
conversation
he was
up.
able to sacrifice.
Okay. Well, we run out of time. We'd like to wrap this conversation up as we get into another conversation, but we'll give you a minute or two to give, a minute please, to give us your concluding thoughts. If you follow the first conversation, you can merge it to this, and let's have your concluding thoughts in 1 minute, and then we'll go around before we get into the next conversation. Please go ahead with your concluding thoughts.
Is that for me?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So my concluding thought would be that politics of 2027 is still early. It's too early to call who will be the president in 2027.
Okay.
Man proposes, God disposes. Look at Ifeanyi Uba. He went to APC with the main aim of clinching the ticket of the party and hoping to become governor of Anambra State. But where is he today? I'm not spiting him, but God knows better than everybody. So anything can happen. We still have, this administration is not yet 2 years.
Okay.
It's still less than 2 years, at least, with some few weeks. So a lot, I think what we give Tinubu's second term will be his performance in office. If he's able to consolidate on his reforms and people can feel the impact of his governance for better, if there is improvement in the standard of living of the people, irrespective of the number of contestants in 2027, I think he should
right
be
then.
able to win.
All right, then,
Otherwise, there could be revolt. There could be revolt against him in 2027.
All right, an interesting analysis there. We know that some have said El-Rufai is a placeholder for Atiku in the SDP. But let's have concluding thoughts from Mr. Dennis Ekemezie. Or is it Bishop Dennis Ekemezie?
Thank you. The build-ups 2027 is gearing up. The dynamics of politics also enveloping. And will not fear whether the sitting president will lose his seat, not to become president again. However, we should look at the dynamics of the imaginary realities that will come after his 2 years in office.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Barrister Darlington, let's have your thoughts, please.
Moses, it's a very big shame that less than 2 years of Tinubu's administration, he's talking of a second term. There are posters all over the place.
Door to door.
Posters all over the place. It's not even up to 2 years. So the only business that we have in Nigeria today is what? Election and politics. And you are telling me that we are going to make progress under Tinubu. How? Whatever you do now, whatever you say now, Tinubu is calculating for 2027. And that means governance is dead in Nigeria. So where is the progress coming? How?
Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Prince Francis.
The president told us during the campaigns that if he becomes the president, it's going to give us light and that we don't have to pay so much for it. And that if he's unable to do that, nobody should give him a second term. It's on his doorstep.
Okay. All right, then. Well, let's get into the next conversation now. Looking at IPOB. IPOB orders total sit at home on May 30 in Southeast for Biafra Heroes as Biafra Heroes Day, as DSS blocks ex-AGF Kanu Agabi from meeting with Nnamdi Kanu in custody. Let's x-ray this when we come back from this conversation.
Or are you looking for a place to store your boat? Welcome to Big's Boat Club and Gardens. Our gardens provides a serene ambience for those special occasions like weddings, birthdays, family picnics, or any outdoor event. And if you're a boat lover and you've been worried about where to store your precious boat, worry no more. We introduce Big's Boat Club and Gardens. At Big's Boat Club and Gardens, we are more than just a boatyard. We are a premier destination for boat lovers. We provide a secure environment for you to store your priceless boats, and we ensure they are in top shape for whenever you need them. Our members have freedom to commercialize their boats for exclusive cruises and luxury trips to stunning beach houses. And when it's time to set sail, our on-site field station ensures you are always ready to cruise in style. Big's Boat Club and Garden is located at Wale Olateju Crescent off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1. Follow us on Instagram at BigsGarden_BBC. Big's Garden, where leisure meets lifestyle.
Now, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has declared a total lockdown across the southeast on Friday, May 30, 2025, to mark this year's Biafra Heroes Memorial Day. Well, the group says the sit-at-home order, which will last from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., is intended to honor those who lost their lives in the struggle for Biafra self-determination during and after the Civil War. IPOB is also urging residents and supporters to observe the order as both a tribute and a precaution, citing past incidents involving security forces during previous commemorations. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services has reportedly barred Chief Kanu Agabi, a former senator and ex-attorney general of the Federation, from meeting with Nnamdi Kanu, the detained IPOB leader. Agabi, who leads Kanu's legal team, was denied access despite advance notice to the agency, while Kanu's legal counsel has condemned the move, calling it a direct violation of the IPOB leader's right to a fair and a fair trial and demanding answers from DSS over what they describe as continued interference in the legal process. Oh, well, we still have in the studio here Barrister Darlington Agomo and Prince Francis Chilaka. We also have Dr. Dennis Ekemeze from our Oka outstation. Let me start with you, Mr. Ekemeze, since you are there in the Southeast where... Okay, we also have Dr. Jide Ojo, who joined us from virtually from Abuja. Let me start with you, Dr. Ekemeze, since you are in the Southeast and we are looking at sit-at-home order in the Southeast. Meanwhile, this order is not coming in respect of Nnamdi Kanu's court appearance. It is coming on the day of 30th May, which has been set aside for the commemoration of Biafra Heroes Day. Barrister, sorry, Doctor, is it, what's your reaction to the fact that IPOB has again called for a sit-at-home order on the day that they are commemorating thousands of lives lost? If, as a matter of fact, millions of lives lost during the Biafra War, is it something that is worth it? Sit-at-home order is causing a lot of problem in the Southeast. But it's also good to understand that they say, look, people have to be very cautious so that it doesn't descend into violence and all of that, where people are killed, vehicles burnt and all of that. What is your broad reaction to this call by IPOB for sit-at-home order on May 30th?
Well, thank you. Historically, May 30th is always remembered by the people of Southeast. Maybe some people call it the day of liberation. Even the month of May also, so much cherished by the Southeastern people. And it is an annual ritual that the dead are remembered. Those who lost their lives during the Civil War are remembered on that 30th of May. Even in Anambra State, there was a program that Ozemezla, where those that lost their lives during the war were remembered on the same 30th May. They were honored and remembered. However, we will not mix it up with the directives of IPOB. Of course, we know in some of the states in the Southeast, there are still quasi sit-at-home in some states. People don't move easily. On Mondays, that was declared sit-at-home. So for that of 30th May this year, I think people will be cautious.
Now, Doctor, if you say people will be cautious, are you in any way personally supporting that those that lost their lives during the Civil War should have a day where they're being, we commemorate them, if need be, and also remember that they put in a whole lot of effort for the people of the Southeast to withhold them.
The Igbos remember their deaths. You must know that. Igbos remember their deaths.
So personally, I think that 30th of May should just be given to them in the Southeast.
Remember what I said? I said it has been an annual ritual. It's an annual ritual, if you remember. If you tell yourself the truth, they remember those that were killed during the Civil War on 30th of May. However, as I said, we will not lay so much credence on instruction of IPOB. However, people ought to be cautious.
All right. Thank you so much.
Because nobody will want to waste his or her life.
Thank you.
That's what my point.
Thank you, Doctor, for that. Now, let's get to Mr. Jide Ojo. Let's get your opinion on the fact that, we learned that the DSS once again restricted the counsel of Nnamdi Kanu, from having, all right, well, I was told that we had a network glitch there and I think we lost contact with Mr. Jide Ojo. Now, let's bring it back to the studio. Barrister Darlington. Again, DSS also is restricting Kanu's counsel from having access to him. As the trial now begins, do you think that this is more like a good work in the right direction, denying Agabi the right of seeing his, let's say his client while in DSS custody?
I don't understand the meaning of this overzealousness on the part of DSS concerning Nnamdi Kanu. I can't remember when the court ordered them not to allow anybody to see Nnamdi Kanu. So they are doing this on their own. And it is purely illegal because you need access to your lawyer when you're under trial. You have to have access to your lawyer. You have to have discussion with him. So this thing they are doing now, where does it apply in this trial? There is no fairness here. These are the things Agabi should tell the court. And I'm sure Justice Tomotosho will do the needful concerning DSS. Their overzealousness is so annoying. And they are the one even fueling all this anger in the Southeast. Because when you continue to maltreat and treat the people like this, what do you expect from them? To be happy? No, it's not possible.
But Barrister, talking about the anger in the Southeast, do you approve of the sit at home for 30th of May to celebrate the
Look,
dead?
observing your dead, I don't see any problem there. It's not about sitting at home. Forget the language.
No, what makes it spectacular now is that there is a sit-at-home order.
No. I said forget the language. If they have said observe this day in commemoration of the dead, I mean, but it doesn't matter. When you are in a jungle, fine English is not even allowed. Maybe the sit-at-home.
Okay, so observe it by sitting at home. That is what I have called.
Observe the day.
We cannot ignore the statement "sit at home" because that's that's the bone of contention here. There's a time frame given, more like a curfew. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. No movement on that particular day.
There is the caveat. They say to avoid the casualties, because these people will take advantage that some people are protesting, they are doing work to rule and all that. And so they will start shooting them, and from there things will escalate. Yes, it's not beyond the security agency to do that. That's what.
So Barrister, in order to avoid all of those things, there's something that could lead to bedlam. Is it not? Wouldn't it be proper to ask people to observe 30th May as Remembrance Day and go about their normal businesses instead of having to call for a sit at home?
No, there's no way they could go about their normal business without some frictions here and
But
there.
the likes of Mr. Dennis Kemeze made Nigerians understand today that the Southeasterners have been also observing that particular
Exactly, yes.
Now, before the network Yankee over Mr. Jide Ojo, there's a question I threw to you. How do you react to the fact that, again, DSS, denied access to, I'm talking about denying Agabi now happens to be the lead counsel of Nnamdi Kanu access to seeing his client while in DSS custody. What do you have to say about this? We'd like you to unmute your device so that we can hear you. Can you hear me, Mr. Jide? Please unmute your device for proper communication. All right, let's bring it back to the studio while you work on your device. Now, Prince Francis.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
So, for me, I think we need to, the DSS is overreaching itself by virtue of what denying the counsel to Nnamdi Kanu access to his lawyer. That marks of persecution, not prosecution. Because in law, you are supposed to have access to your lawyer. Even if you are arrested by the police, before you make a statement, you have a right to make that statement only in the presence of your lawyers. It's only in Nigeria that we breach rights of citizens with impunity. I don't see why DSS should deny Kanu Agabi access to his client. I'm happy that the trial is underway. Who alleges must prove, but justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done.
All right.
And I really don't know whether the declaration of the state of emergency on May 30th will amount to much for the people of Southeast Nigeria.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Jide. We're pressed for time. Thank you so much for your contribution. Now, Prince Francis Chilaka, let's get your own contribution to this particular topic. This is not the first time DSS is denying access to, to counsels getting to Nnamdi Kanu. And also, like Mr. Ekemeze said, Southerners have also been observing the commemoration of the people that died during the war. Let's get your thoughts.
I do not have a problem with people observing, spending time talking about their dead. But I have a problem with this callous and wasteful way of doing it. And I find it very, very disheartening that the Southeast, they're not learning. The so-called people who gather themselves and call themselves leaders in Southeast, those who call themselves IPOB leaders, they're not learning. They're not thinking out of the box. The Southeast on its own imposed a structure that has crippled the Southeast, and that is sit at home. And we've been battling with it. And it's from the sit at home that we eventually got what we know as unknown gunmen in the Southeast. And people are being killed daily and nobody's talking about it. So anybody who wakes up from sleep, from slumber, and begins to talk about another sit at home, that person has a mental problem.
Thank you so much. I guess that's the right place, a right way to end the conversation. Thank you so much, Ms. Francis Chilaka, for your contribution. Thank you, Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOPTV in-house analyst. Thank you, Dr. Dennis Akemeze, public affairs analyst. Thank you, Mr. Jide Ojo, public affairs analyst and columnist with Inotable newspaper in Nigeria, The Punch. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of today's show. And this is where we'll end today's VOP this morning. On behalf of the backroom staff, my colleagues in the studio, Chukuma Okoro and Moses Humphrey, I'm Fina Okechukwu. Enjoy the rest of your day and do well to join Moses and Chukuma for this paper review on top of the hour at 10 a.m. today here on Voice of the People Television. Bye for now.